Alright guys, welcome back. In today's video, I want to talk about all the latest updates with Airbnb. They just dropped a massive new update. What they're calling it is a new Airbnb for a new world of travel. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about all the category updates, air cover, my thoughts on the algorithm and the AI and all that stuff. And then I'm going to jump into some tips and tricks on how to take advantage of these updates. So if you are a host on Airbnb and you're trying to be on top of your game, watch this video. Thank you. You guys, since I'm a Ask a Superhost or Ask an Ambassador or the program, I get firsthand look at these new programs and updates that Airbnb is doing. Super honored. So about a week and a half ago, they had a private group where Airbnb kind of explained all these new updates, when they're gonna launch it, and kind of give us a tutorial or a little demo on all the updates. So I had about a week or so to play around with it, and then once it went live, I had a bunch of hosts that I talked to, what they thought about it, and just kind of dove into it a lot more so I can make this video to kind of explain my thoughts and how you can take advantage of a lot of these updates. Also, sometimes I get this question or whatever. I don't work for Airbnb. I'm a host just like you guys. I'm an ambassador, so yes, I do love Airbnb, but I speak 100% freely. Nobody is telling me to make this video. I'm making this strictly to help you guys as much as I possibly can. And this is just the information that I know and what is starting to work for me and what other hosts are doing in their journey. Now, if you are a host and you're a new host and you're just getting started, I am an ambassador. So with my link below, you can join the hosting program. It's 100% free. You join with my link, you and I will be connected. I can help you through that process and hopefully a lot less errors and more successful for you at the end. So let's jump into it. Okay, the first big update is called categories. Categories is a massive new update. They added 50 categories. So you're probably asking me, what are categories? I think in general, they're trying to make it a lot easier for travelers to find, different types of places and whatnot. So a handful of the categories, you'll see it at the top of the browser, which I'll show you here in a second, but there's searches now. So you can type in right on the categories, little icons says design, beach, national parks, historical homes. Literally, there's so many amazing ones, and you can just click on those categories, and if you're flexible, it will pull up a bunch of different dates and awesome locations for you. I have to say, in the last week or so, I've been playing around categories and kind of just getting familiar with the Airbnb new updates, and I'm just like beyond inspired to go step up my game on my rentals. But not only that, go out and explore. I'm dying to go travel and check out some of these other destinations. Categories really just made it easy to search around and find all kinds of beautiful spots and locations I've never even heard of. I think we can all say now that traveling is going back, or there's a lot more travelers now. I still believe that most travelers are gonna be going 300 to 700 miles away from home. So a lot of driving to these destinations, that's what I've been noticing. A lot of hosts I've been talking to, kind of just been driving neighboring states or whatnot. So we all know that there's millions and millions of new travelers joining Airbnb. I would probably say 60% right now of my bookings are from new travelers that just joined Airbnb. So I think this really opens up the gate and makes it a lot easier if you've never used Airbnb before. I feel like that you can click on the categories, find locations, find cool houses, and be more willing to go and explore and book those listings. Now let's jump in to the computer and I'll kind of scroll through and kind of show you what it looks like. This is a new way of searching, introducing the whole new design with categories. As you can see, categories go right here across the top. Now, these are some of the categories: amazing views, Arctic, beach, bed and breakfast, camping, golfing, design, creative space, countryside, chef's kitchen, and on and on. There's so many good categories. There is now 50 categories to choose from. If you're really big into design, you can check out some famous designers and stay at their places. That's super cool. So I get this question all the time when I was asking hosts and new travelers, what does categories mean for hosting? So I believe, like any social media platform, whenever there's a big update, you really want to take advantage of that update. Quick example, like when Instagram jumped on and did Reels, it was really smart if you got on Instagram and you just started doing a lot of Reels. Instagram AI would see that and they would promote all those new channels that were boosting Reels over and over again. So it was a great way for you to get a bunch of clicks and a bunch of followers and whatnot. Same kind of thing, I believe, in Airbnb. If they make these big updates and changes and you jump on it right away and make all those updates in your listing profile, it's only gonna help the AI recognize your listing, and hopefully it's just gonna get you a lot more eyeballs, which is more bookings. Now, I do believe also it's gonna take a couple months, maybe even a year for the AI to really fine tune and correct all the listings. And if you have a desert listing or a design listings, maybe gonna take a little while for the AI to read it, but I would suggest jumping on it right now and trying to update your listing so the algorithm can start seeing that. Now let me jump into a couple of tips and tricks and ideas that I believe are gonna help you in your listing and take advantage of these categories. You probably hear me say it all the time, but I'm a huge advocate for photography and photos. And I actually even did a handful of photo projects for Airbnb for this update. So I know that photography, high res, good quality photos, it's just a lot more easy for guests to look at. Airbnb loves high quality photos. That's gonna convert you into a lot more bookings. It's just plain and simple. Really good photography is only gonna let people click on it more, they're gonna view it, and less confusion, all that good stuff. So spend the money, hire a professional, get really good photos on your listing. Also, you guys, Airbnb is smart enough to recognize a high quality, good photography listing. So just another way for you to rank higher in the listing, Airbnb is gonna notice all the ones that have really good photography. So definitely take advantage of that because that's something pretty easy that you can do. Even when I started searching around on these categories and searching for different locations, pretty much all of the ones that popped up had great photos. So it looks like they're already starting to promote all the listings that have really great photos. Now, if you search further down, you'll start seeing photos that aren't that great. So you can definitely see that photography is gonna be a huge part of the future of Airbnb, which I'm a huge fan of. I think everybody should have amazing photos. Now, another really important part about photography and building out your listing is the captions. And I'll be the first to admit it, I am the worst when it comes to captions. I'm just not a good writer. I'm more of a creative person, but captions are gonna be even more important now than ever with the categories and the AI recognizing it. But you guys don't do like what Instagram people do and they just hashtag a million different ones. Really make sure those categories represent your listing and what's in the photo. AI is gonna be way smart and they're gonna see that. And if you're just listing a bunch of categories to try to get more clicks and bookings, they're probably just gonna spam your account at one point. I have no proof of that, but that's just how it works with social media. So same kind of thing, it's probably with Airbnb. So let's say one of my photos has like amazing lake views and it has a hot tub. So in the caption, you're definitely gonna wanna highlight that. Let's say like lake views with hot tub. Obviously get a little bit more creative than that. But if you put those keywords in there that are in the categories, I believe eventually when somebody clicks on the categories of lake view, your place is gonna rank a lot higher. Another way to take advantage of these new updates is make sure you're filling out everything in your listing. You hear me talk about this a lot, but in the space and in the description where you really want to list everything out that you have. Go ahead and look at all the 50 categories and see what keywords you can use in those categories of stuff that you have in your space. Like I'm in a desert, so maybe I wanna talk about desert. Or if you're on the beach, talk about the beach a couple times. That way the AI will see those keywords and hopefully your listing will get boosted up. And then amenities. More than ever, I feel like the more amenities you have that you can like reasonably have is only gonna help you because you're gonna be able to check off all those boxes. So go through the amenities. If you don't have a blow dryer, that's an easy, $20, $15, whatever for a blow dryer. go buy one, because it's one more click that you can hit on the amenities. Only gonna help your listing. I think it's gonna be even more important now than ever. And then another huge amenity, it's probably at one of the top of the list of searches right now, is a workspace or a dedicated workspace. More and more people are traveling for, work from home, staying longer trips, etc. So if you do have a dedicated workspace, or if you don't and you think you can build out a dedicated workspace, I would definitely do that and try to advertise that in your listing. Make sure you write it under the caption, dedicated workspace. Maybe you provide a monitor or a screen or something like that. Plenty of outlets and plugs, a desk, a chair. You really want to highlight that, because a lot more people are gonna be traveling, working from home/rental. Now, I don't have any hard facts on this, just from having my ear to the ground a lot more, but I believe with all these updates and changes, which I'll explain a lot more later, I believe Airbnb is really trying to clean up their reputation a lot more. They want a lot more guaranteed that the guests are gonna get what they get, and they also want to promote really good hosts. So if you're a great host that is checking off all the boxes, positive reviews, filling in all the gaps, description, the space, filling in as many amenities as you can, being a super host, high quality photos, design, all that good stuff is only gonna promote your listing that much more. And I think Airbnb, don't quote me on this, but I think Airbnb is gonna only push down the listings that are causing them headaches and trouble, maybe even delete them from the app. They're definitely trying to avoid any party houses or nuisance problems or any of that stuff, which I'm a huge fan of, because only 1%, I believe, is a very big problem. And I think Airbnb notices that, and they're trying to clean up their platform in general. Even myself, I feel like I have to step up my game. I really wanna make sure my place is over the top clean. I wanna make sure I have all the amenities, better photography, anything I can do to stand out. Like, I'm really a big fan of quality design and good furniture, and it just makes me wanna step up my game a lot more. So I think all hosts that are taking this extremely serious and treating it like a real business, everyone's just gonna step up their game a lot more, which I'm a huge fan of. Now, who do some of these changes affect? I feel like the hosts that just slap up their listing as quickly as possible to make as much money as possible, and all they're thinking about is the money and not really the experience and the design and everything else about it that goes into it. I feel like it's really gonna affect those people, and those type of hosts are really gonna have to step up their game if they're gonna wanna get more bookings on the platform. A benefit, I feel like this is gonna help a lot of small towns and small time hosts. So in Arizona, there's all these little tiny towns around that 2 hours, 3 hours away from major cities that most people don't even know about. And I feel like these small towns with a unique type of property or a good experience are gonna get a lot more searches and bookings, because people are gonna be willing to explore a little bit with the suggested categories, suggested locations, being flexible. I think a lot of small towns and unique type of places are gonna win big time. Okay, I better move on before I just keep rambling on about a bunch. This is already a long video, and I'm sure it's gonna be a long video, so those of you that are sticking around, thank you. You can give me a little smash on that, but let's jump into the next subject. The next major update, which is a really cool update, it's called split stays. Split stay or split stays, and I'm gonna show you on the screen here in a second, but basically what split stays are, with more people traveling longer trips than ever before, Airbnb is opening up what's called split stays. It's a new feature that you can split up your stays between multiple homes or listings, right? So guests have found that an average of 40% more listings will be searchable for longer stays. So like a lot of you, most of you are thinking split stays, wouldn't that hurt me for getting some of those longer stays? And that's something that I was kind of struggling with for a long time. Instead, I started really diving into it and talking to more and more people. This is my thought about it. Likely, I think at first I thought split stays was going to hurt me and hurt other hosts in getting those longer bookings. But the way I look at it, if my calendar is not open for the full month and a guest is looking for the full month, my place isn't gonna show up. But if they're willing to do a split stay and they wanna stay 2 weeks in my place and 2 weeks somewhere else, then hopefully my place will pop up and I'll get that booking at least. So I'm thinking it's actually gonna get me more bookings by doing this and more host bookings and longer stays. I think weeks and 2 week stays are gonna be pretty common. And then here are split stays. Find an average of 40% more listings when searching for longer stays. So basically with split stays, you can stay in 2 different cities, 2 different homes at the same time. Well, not the same time, you know what I mean. So let's say you wanna stay in Zion, but then you wanna stay in the Grand Canyon. Well, there you go. You can split your stay. You wanna leave for a month, you can do 2 weeks there and 2 weeks there. So it's one seamless experience. Should be pretty simple. Airbnb's intelligence will help match you up, get you locations that are fairly pretty close to each other. Now with split stays, you can only do 2 at a time for now. I could see them expanding that eventually. Okay, one more thing I want to talk about is the update with AirCover. So AirCover came out a few months ago with the other update and basically is a way better protection for hosts. I won't go into all the details on AirCover for hosts since I went over that before. You can also go to Airbnb, type in AirCover, and it'll give you the entire breakdown of what the latest is for basically free insurance for all hosts on the platform. But one thing I will touch on is last time AirCover had some gray areas, to say it nicely. They had some gray areas where it wasn't so favorable to the host. It actually took way too much side on the guest. Guests complain about a bug or a leaf in the pool or something like that, and they could maybe get a full refund. There was this weird gray area that the host was gonna have to cover it. Not to go too far down, but it looks like they cleaned that part up where Airbnb is gonna be a little bit more responsible for that and a little bit more of the host. So I find that's pretty awesome, to be totally honest, because now it's protecting both sides of their platform, the host and the guests. I think a lot of guests are still kind of nervous about booking a place on Airbnb. Is it gonna be what they say it's gonna be when they check in? All that kind of stuff. So AirCover is now gonna protect the guest. So if the host is lying or misleading or false marketing their place and a guest shows up, well, the host is now really gonna be on the hook for that, and Airbnb is gonna do whatever they can to help that guest. So in short, I believe that Airbnb is trying to build a bigger trust relationship between host and guest and the platform itself, that it is a very trusted site where you can be brand new and join the platform and start traveling and feel safe and protected. So with the guest side of things, you can see right here, there's a booking protection guaranteed. There is a check-in guaranteed, get what you book guaranteed, and 24-hour safety guaranteed. So I don't really know too much about those. You guys probably can find out more there, but I think it's pretty black and white. If you book a place and it's not what it is, or the guest cancels on you, the host cancels on you, sorry, then I would assume Airbnb will take care of that, pick up the slack. A check-in guaranteed, for what I'm told, if you can't reach the guest, or the guest can't reach the host and they can't check in for some reason, the security code doesn't work or the lockbox doesn't work or whatever, and it's been a few hours and their safety is at risk, then Airbnb, I believe, is gonna automatically try to find them another place to stay. Get what you book. I think get what you book is pretty straightforward. Let's say you book a 2-bedroom house and you show up and it's a 1-bedroom and all the furniture is not what it said it was and there's 2 roommates. Well, that's obviously not what you booked. So I believe they're gonna fully refund you, maybe go after the host and then help that guest find a new place. And then 24-hour safety. I think they're trying to improve the hotline here, customer service, but even for the guest side. So now guests can call somebody at Airbnb and be like, I feel very unsafe or threatened or whatever it is. And then they'll probably just go through the same resolution as a host does. My only real feedback on this is some guests may try to take advantage of this situation. I won't go too far down the rabbit hole, but I have a guest from New York. She checked in. I have a place in Scottsdale. It's summertime. We have a pool. It's outside. And there was a handful of leaves in the pool. And she flipped out. She's like, this is unacceptable, I can't stay here, da da da. I was like, it's outside, it's in a pool, use the scrimmer. She refused to use the scrimmer. She claims that she's on vacation, she shouldn't have to do that. So long story short, I think she was just trying to get a free place to stay or a discount, but I just flat out refused. I thought it was a pretty minor situation. You could definitely scrim it out yourself. I went ahead and sent the pool guy over on my dime just to clean it one more time in front of them. But I think those things are kind of a gray area. I ended up doing it just to kind of like smooth things over and never really made her happy. She complained like an hour later that there was more leaves in the pool. But the only reason why I'm explaining this example is because I just kind of stuck my grounds. I didn't give her a discount. I jumped on the situation as quickly as possible. I did reach out to Airbnb also and let them know what was going on ahead of time just to protect myself. So I think some guests will try to take advantage of this, but a good host needs to stick their ground. And I think the most important part to this is the host just has to jump on the situation quickly. If there is an issue that, you know, the AC broke and it's 110 degrees outside and you can't get it fixed in a couple hours, well, that's a pretty reasonable situation for a guest to complain and say they can't stay here, blah, blah, blah. But if it's, you know, the ice machine's not working and you try to do everything you can to fix it and it just doesn't work anymore, to me, that's like such a minute thing. You don't need guests to have ice to survive in the house. So there's little things like that. I feel like it's gonna be a little bit of a gray area, but I do feel like Airbnb has kind of cleaned that up a little bit. And to be short, you just gotta be an active, strong host and kind of jump on those things. Now, I did talk to a lot of hosts about this and air cover and all that stuff. And since there is still kind of a learning curve in that, I went ahead and put a disclaimer in all of my listings. I don't know how much this will hold up or whatnot, but in short, my disclaimer just says that this is not a 24-hour hotel. This is a home. Things do break or come up that are out of my control. I will do whatever I can to resolve the situation and make you feel comfortable, but this doesn't automatically mean you get a refund or a discount on the place. This is a home. Things do happen. I will do my best to help you. Something kind of like that, just to let guests know if something does happen, at least they know I'm aware of it, I'll jump on it, but I just don't want guests to think they can just run amok and ask for discounts or free stays or whatever during the stay. Whew, that was a big video, that was super long, sorry about that, but there's just so much important stuff in there. I would love if you guys would comment below and let me know what some of your favorite categories are, and are you gonna use them? Are you gonna start traveling? What do you guys think about split stay? Really curious to hear about more feedback on split stay. And then what do you guys think about the whole process with air cover and whatnot? Be honest, let me know in the comments. Also, you guys, don't forget, I am a Superhost ambassador. If you have new listing that you're about to launch or you need help to get it launched, join with my link below and I will be able to help you and coach you through that process. And Airbnb gives me a little kickback, so it really does help me out and it's super fun. And I hope I can make you a Superhost a lot quicker. But anyways, you guys are awesome. Smash the like, write a comment, subscribe, and see you next Tuesday. Yeah.